What is going on, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. So, it is finally Friday for all of you hardworking folks out there. It's got to feel good coming up on the weekend. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. I hope you guys have great plans. Yeah, I don't have any plans really. I'm actually packing things up here at the apartment, so I'm starting to close up shop um, because I am going to, one way or another, be heading back home to PA here within the next like week or so. To be honest, no matter what really happens, I'm heading back home. I have to. So I'm doing that. It's a little busy. I'm packing things, things that I want to mail back. I hope I don't get slaughtered on cost because like that, just it's gonna probably be kind of pricey, I'm assuming. But the good news is I don't really have that many boxes to sell, to send back. I was pretty good about it. So crazy thing, I'm gonna talk to you guys about something that honestly I have never spoken about, period. Okay, this is like an unprecedented video. So if you're watching, this is not going to be normal. This is not going to be comfortable in any way, shape, or form. Like, yeah, I'm literally going to talk to you guys about something that is in my life that I haven't even quite figured out yet. And that's why I haven't talked about it. I haven't said anything about this to anyone except for last night. And honestly, it was the best night of sleep that I've gotten in a long time because this has been on my head. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, it is no secret back in January that I was in like really bad shape. Okay, it was like a culmination of things. So, I was already 6 months over the time that I was supposed to hit this trial, and I was literally on my last leg. I don't know how I was able to stretch it that far until the trial became open and I came down here to Texas. That is nothing short than impressive because I was in like super crazy bad shape and there was nothing that could have like been done. So I didn't really know how I didn't like die at that point. So, but anyhow, all that matters is we made it. So when I got down here back in January, I was really, really bad. And when I got down here, like my lungs just basically quit. So just to go over, like just to, for the sake of just setting everybody up of where I was at back in January is I was just completely overrun with cancer. It completely took over my right lung lobe. Like it wasn't even functioning. It was just completely riddled with cancer. I mean, I actually have the images and stuff from like the chest x-ray and stuff, and it was just pure white. Like there was just matter in there, like just garbage. So that caused, since my right lung was in that bad a shape, it caused my left lung to have like an ammonia, it induced an pneumonia, and then I got I do believe it was a staph infection on top of that in there. So literally in January, my lungs just they quit, and I was in the ICU down here in Texas, and I was placed on a ventilator. Yeah, so like I was looking through the notes of during that time, and it came to the point where for a little bit I just quit breathing. Like my lungs just stopped, and it was during the process of them like intubating me. You know, once the machine started breathing for me, then I was good again, and the machine did the work. And then the good news is I was only on it for a week. Somehow I just did like a super freak thing that I usually do. My body does weird stuff. And I was off the ventilator within a week. And I did chemo within a week after that. So yeah, I did like a super freak thing. Here's the part that I've never said anything to anybody about until now. So this is even news to like my wife and stuff, which babe, I'm sorry, I'm gonna apologize. I just wasn't able to wrap my head around it. But when I talked to my cousin from New York last night, and I talked to both my cousin, he's married, and I consider her my cousin and one of my deepest, closest, one of the deepest and closest individuals in my life. Like I have a handful, she's one of them. It literally kind of made sense, like just talking about it. And I talked to her about it specifically because I knew that she was, kind of into this stuff. So, what am I talking about, right? Where am I going with this? Well, let me tell you something. When that happened to me, okay, when I was on that whole episode on the ventilator and came off back in January, something changed. Okay, and something was different about me. I literally, I still don't know how to describe it accurately, but after that was all done, like I started noticing things in February, March, then April, May, and leads into now. I'm like really sensitive to electronic devices. Something in my body changed when that happened to me. So, what do I mean by I'm sensitive to electronic devices? Like, weird thing happens. It's really intermittent. It's not like it happens all the time. It's not like there's like a trend to it. But for example, if I have a cell phone laying there, not even mine, it could be someone else's, and I'll just tell you exactly what happened to me as an example. So I was in the doctor's office, doing a regular doctor's visit, and I asked the doctor. I said, do you have to take that? Like, you have to take that call? And he's like, what call? And then his cell phone just went off, and they had to take it. Like that happened to me twice with the same person, which he kind of looked at me a little weird. It happens to me every now and then with my cell phone. Like it'll just be sitting there and I'll be like, hey, it's gonna ring. And then moments later it rings. It could be a spam call, it could be anything, but I can tell. So I became like really sensitive to electronic devices. I can tell like when the TV's gonna shut off. I can like just tell things. It makes me uncomfortable. Like I feel a change in like the atmosphere. Like it's really makes me uncomfortable. Now, I'm not one that's big into this kind of thing, so for the most part, I ignored it. But you know, I just noticed that there was a little bit of a change. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I'm not quite sure even now what that's all about. I just noticed that things are a little different. And, God bless her. My cousin's wife here, and I'm not really going to say names or anything, but she said that that's actually quite common to happen for, people that went through, a life-changing event, like such as I did. And I don't know, I find it like very uncomfortable. I find it very weird. Like I really don't know how to handle this at all. But I find it like I'm very curious about it. I think it is really neat. And I think I need to, like I said, I need to talk to some sort of person or expert about it. And I do have somebody in mind that I kind of want to bounce this off of because it is really bizarre. And so I did an experiment. And I kind of like what I did is I went and I bought a Tesla coil. Now, some of you folks don't know what a Tesla coil is. So, Nikolai Tesla, he was big into, power and energy back when it was being invented. And if you ever get a chance to read the history up on Tesla, please do. It's not like Tesla, like Elon Musk and Tesla of today. Back then they were making, he was making power and inventing things, but he invented a device called a Tesla coil. And basically what it does is it takes power and makes it wireless. his theory was that, power can be wireless. You didn't need it. And he actually invented a device that actually does do that. It performs it. So with me having, like, me just being me and trying to get to the bottom of this new phenomenon in my life, let's just say, I was like, oh, this is going to be neat. I wonder what this is going to do. And I just had a funny feeling about it. So I literally bought one. I bought it's like one of those My Science project, and it's like a miniature Tesla coil. And I plugged it in and I started it, and it literally made me so uncomfortable while this device was running. And I've did it over and over again on multiple occasions. It has literally made me so uncomfortable that at one point I actually broke down and started to cry because it just overwhelmed my senses. Like this is how weird and bizarre that this is. So it's definitely a thing. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it's about, but all I can say on, from what I understand it to be is I just became very sensitive to electronic fields. Yeah. And when I use that Tesla coil, that's what that creates is electronic field. So it actually made me extremely uncomfortable and like overloaded like my sensory response. It was bizarre. I used it a couple times after that, and I actually, you know, got to the point now where it doesn't really bother me, but I can definitely tell if it's on. Like I don't even have to be in the room, and I can like be in another room in the apartment here in a completely different area, and I can tell that machine is running. Like I can feel it. It is really, really neat. So that is something interesting. Um, that is something interesting that has happened to me, and I noticed a change from when I had that episode and pretty much died. And yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what that means. I really have no idea what to make out of it. I've known like I said, I've done like my own little experiments and stuff with it. But yeah, that is something that is different. And I'm taking it as a good thing. Like, it is definitely it is most definitely a thing though. Like for real. And I'm not playing with y'all. Like I'm telling you, it's honest God truth. I really haven't talked about it because I haven't quite wrapped my head around what exactly it is and why. Why does it do that? And from what I was told, that's it's quite common. It's for somebody that that happened. There's actually a lot of instances out there in the world where it is a normal thing. So I'm quite curious to see what this is all about and what I can do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like what is it? What does it do? Like is there a purpose for that? Like is there a reason it does that? Like what in me changed that all of a sudden I could do that? Now it just seems to happen with like I said with like electronics. I do weird shit with electronics. I can tell like I said sometimes I can tell before somebody gets a phone call now. Like I can sense it does weird things. And then also it it actually is to the point where I can tell if something's going to shut off, like if it's running out of power. I could be like, hey, that thing's going to die. And then all of a sudden it like dies. So like when I was talking, for example, for another example, I was literally having a conversation with my cousin and just talking to him like I'm talking to you now. And like I literally was in the middle of a sentence and all of a sudden like it just blurted out of my mouth. It said it power off. I was like, what? I was like, why did I say that? And I was like looking at my shit. I'm like, is something gonna die? Like it's not my phone. I had literally 42% battery left on my phone at the time, and I was FaceTiming him, and then I was like, hey, is he was like, what? It was so bizarre. It was so random. And he's like, why did you say that? And I'm like, dude, check your stuff. Like, is your shit about to shut off or something? Like, you running out of juice? And he's like, my AirPods are. He had AirPods in. Like, he's like, they're gonna die. I was like, okay, that's weird. So it is certain things like that that I have now. And like I said, it all started back in January after that whole episode. So that's something that's really cool. I also noticed a change in like my body now. So uh, like I feel way different, especially after the trial. So I did the whole trial thing and came out like great. And I do feel really, really different. And I don't really know if that's like different in a good way, like I'm healthy all of a sudden, which I don't remember what that feels like. It's been a long time. But also, like I said, there's like this difference in the way that I feel things. Like, I can tell with like electronic devices and stuff, like I can tell whenever, they're gonna activate or do something. And the only thing that I came up with logically to explain it is so like everybody's body admits, basically a current. Everybody's basically just like the Matrix. The Matrix was actually accurate on this. The movie's Matrix. Like you are basically a battery. So you have a magnetic field. You have, basically a positive, generation of a current in your body. I think mine was altered, from what I've been through. So it made me a little bit more sensitive to certain things, certain aspects. Another really neat thing that I did notice is magnets. So if I touch a magnet and I hold on to it, it gets really hot. Yeah, like to touch. It heats up. That's cool. That is like super pretty. So maybe, just maybe, I ended up with some sort of superpower. How cool would that be? I don't know what it is yet, but I did notice a change, like biologically. There's a change in my body. So, like I said, I haven't really said anything to anybody. It's the first time I'm mentioning it here. And the only reason I'm even mentioning it is because, like I said, I had a conversation, last night that really kind of opened up my eyes to, what this could actually be. So I'm actually really excited. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to somebody about it and see what this, kind of why it's doing, like why my body does this. Um, and kind of find out. And like I said, I did that whole experience with the Tesla coil thing, and it was like overwhelming. I actually have the Tesla coil. I thought it was really neat, and it really, really made me uncomfortable. There's also something that happened in the hospital. It was actually last month. So I was walking to my appointment now. M&D Anderson, this hospital is massive. It is literally a campus. It is huge. So big, in fact, that I have been here for going on 6 months and in and out of this place like crazy. I have yet to even see half of the hospital. I'm going to say that I've only explored a quarter of this place. Like, it is so massive. It is so big. I haven't even seen the same person twice since I've been here. Like sitting in the waiting rooms and stuff. And, you know, you recognize, folks every now and then because you find like, a trend, like you're in the same area sometimes at the same time. And, you talk to people and stuff, waiting in the waiting room, and there's nothing else to do. Sometimes you're waiting for hours. And I honestly have never seen the same person twice. That is just how big, like as a scale that this place is. So I was actually walking, and this is true story. I was walking to one of the appointments, and where I was heading is actually a long, long walk. Like I call it walking the mile. And from the parking garage to get to where I'm going, it is a significant distance. So I was, I was doing all right physically wise. Like I could make it. I didn't have to get in a wheelchair or anything. I could make it. And I was going past like I know that there was like a break room, part way. There was a break room, and I was like, oh, easy. I'm gonna stop. That's perfect because I'm gonna stop, take a break in this break room. I didn't know if there was vending machines in there or not, but I was hoping there was because I was like, all right, I'll get like a drink or something and just kind of chill for a few minutes, recover, and then continue, my journey. So I did. I made it to this break room, and I do believe it's a staff break room because like there's like some signs and stuff, and I was like, whatever, I'm going in there anyways. I don't care. So I I literally walked into the break room. I got like two steps in, and I just stopped. I stopped dead in my tracks, and I clenched my fist like the hair, if I had any hair at the time, like stood up. Like honestly, I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight. Like I was in full fight mode. Like clenched fist, like full fighter stance. Like I was ready to fight to the death. Like it was serious. It was an emotionally draining experience. And there was nothing, there was nobody in this break room. There was some microwaves, refrigerators, things of that nature, and like, random salt packets on the table. Like it was just like a regular break room. But I was ready to fight. And I don't know what caused that. I literally backed out of that room. So I just walked backwards out of the doors back into the hallway. And it was such a crazy, just overwhelming experience for me that I literally I backed out of the break room, like full reverse, walked down the hallway, continuing the direction I was going, found a bench and sat down and was like hyperventilating because I was just exhausted. Like every muscle in my body was like ready for a fight. And I don't know. Like I said, there was nobody there. It was empty. There's nothing there. But there was something in there that just caused me to have this reaction. I literally sat on the bench in the hallway, just trying to get my breath under control, trying to like recover. I was just physically drained, just physically, emotionally just drained. I have no idea what caused that. I literally sat on that bench for like 15, 20 minutes. I was almost late for my appointment because of that. And then after like a while, I was fine. I just got up and continued walking. But the funny thing is when I came back, like when I was done with my appointment, I was walking back to the parking garage to get in the car and come back to the apartment. I literally like avoided that place like a plague. Like I took the long way around on the opposite side of the hallway. Like I gave that room its like distance. There was just something weird. There's something weird about that. So yeah, I did notice that. So since that episode back in January where I had that episode, I did notice that there is something different with my physiology. I have no idea what it is. Honest to God, I don't. I'm not quite sure what to make out of it. And that's why I really haven't talked about it that much because I haven't wrapped my head around it. To even talk in the least bit educated about it, like I have no idea. But there is weird things that happen to me now. Like there is definitely it is really, like I said, it's really intermittent. Like I in no way is it reliable. Like sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it's just because I'm not paying attention to it. I don't really know. So I definitely want to like talk about that to my physicians group and say, hey, why do I feel different in this way? Like, is it like a normal response to what I did or what I've been through, or like, what's going on? What changed? What can change? Is it even possible? Like, can they explain it? I don't know. But other than that, like, like I said, I just wanted to bring that up because they, that's different. So if anybody knows anything, like anybody watching the videos or anything, if anybody has something to add, any ideas on what that could possibly be, just message me. Like you don't have to, just private message me, because I don't know what it is. Um, as for like what I'm doing right now, yeah, I'm like I'm starting to button things up. Like I'm starting to pack things up slowly here at the apartment. I'm gonna be out of here I'm gonna say within a week or two max. Um, just because, I'm done here. Um, and we ran into some issues, go figure again, with the workman's comp, the federal workman's comp people. They just literally, like I said earlier in the video, they literally screwed everything up, which I'm not surprised because honestly, it's the federal government and they're, yeah, we'll just leave that there. So, one way or another, I am definitely heading back home. Um, the good news is that I really, really took to the infusion, to the trial, so I'm not having any issues whatsoever. Uh, I feel different. See, everybody's asking me, like my family members and stuff. They're asking me, they're like, "Oh, how do you feel?" Like, they're looking for like the gushy stuff, like, "Oh, I'm doing great." I feel like I'm cured. I don't. I have no idea. I have no idea what my current status is. Everything does feel different. I'll give people that. Like I definitely do feel um different. I get like I I I don't know. To me, what makes sense in my head is I actually feel healthy. I'm really hoping that that's the case too. Like I've been wrong in the past. This cancer, especially the cancer that I have, is super tricky because it is just so ingrained into me, and that's why I had such a problem with getting rid of this and getting healthy because my body treats cancer like regular muscle. It just feeds it what it wants. It doesn't recognize it as a bad thing. And that's why I haven't been successful, to get rid of it like anybody else would. That's why I went through so many therapies and it just, sometimes it works, sometimes it fails. It just, my body just doesn't really recognize it as, like a bad thing. Like your body would recognize it as like a cold or, a virus or something. There would be like immune response to it. Your body would be like, no, this is bad. It's not supposed to be here. And then you would have, an immune response and you would get better, right? My body doesn't do that with cancer. It just thinks that it's supposed to be there. It is just very sneaky like that. So, like right now, I have been fooled in the past, but I do legitimately feel different, um, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think that means that I'm healthy because I really don't, it's very foreign to me how I feel. It doesn't follow what I'm typically used to, with getting chemo and radiation and stuff. I'm used to that. I'm used to the damage and the sickness that follows that. I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm quite accustomed to the way that works and the progression of getting better and things of that nature from the treatment. And in this case, that didn't happen. So there is a state of confusion. However, what I'm feeling and what I think I'm feeling is I am feeling healthy because I don't remember what that's like. It's been 12 years. I don't remember what you feel, like what any of you feel. I don't remember what that feels like to be healthy, to be strong, I've always been living now for a long time with that extra slice of like, having the cancer treatments and stuff, that extra slice of damage and that extra slice of feeling things, that whole bag of cats, I'm used to living like that. So to not have that, to not feel that way is quite foreign to me. So I do believe that's what I am feeling at this point. I'm hoping that that's true. I'm hoping that, it's a good thing that, I am on the right path and I'm, in remission. I'm hoping that this is what I'm feeling, because, that's what, that's what the goal was to be here. That's what I wanted to do. So that's really all I have, when it comes down to the question of, how do you feel? Like, what do you think happened? Um, I do know that, I get stronger every day and my body is doing some, goofy different things and I kind of like it. It's in like a good way. It's definitely in a positive way. So on the 6th here coming up, I have all the testing that is required, of me to do. So we're gonna do the PET CT scan. We're gonna do the full workup. My blood looks fantastic. Like all my blood work, my counts and everything are absolutely fantastic. Um, which I was never evil. Like honestly, my cancer was so ingrained. It was such a part of me that you couldn't tell I had cancer with my blood work. Like my body is a very unique machine. Everyone's body is a very unique machine, by the way. It's not just me, but you couldn't tell that I had cancer through my blood work. Like I didn't have like high white counts or anything of that nature. I never, ever, ever had that. So, if you were strictly looking at my blood work to determine how I was, it would be normal. It always has been that way. So can't really go by that with me, but you know, right now everything looks great. Um, we're gonna tell on the 6th when I get the cancer test and everything done. That is when I will know whether or not this did anything and where I stand currently. So a little nervous coming into that, of course, but more so than being nervous, I'm curious. I'm really wondering, what this did, and I guess kind of everyone else is too, on the team. Because, like I said, I was the first inhuman person to get this done. It's never been done before, and I'm the first one. There's 94 other people after me, but I was the first one it was done to, and I'll be the first one to get the tests and everything done to determine what it's doing. And for my sake and the sake of other folks, I really hope that we get really good positive results. As in, like what they've gotten from me, data wise and everything, it's a lot. They did a lot of testing. They have a lot to go from at this point, so hopefully, I accomplished what I was supposed to here and they're satisfied. I'm excited. I'm excited to get it done. I'm excited to see results and I'm excited to move on, with my life here. I'm excited to go home. I'm excited to see my wife and kids and all my friends and stuff. I am really excited to do that. And I pray, honest to goodness, I pray that I have good results from this so that when I come home, I have wonderful news for everybody to share with everyone. That would be fantastic. In the meanwhile, though, I am staying the course. I'm staying focused. I'm getting this done. There's a lot that has to happen between now and then, and I'm at the beginning of it. So, it's too soon to tell, and there's a lot that needs to happen between point A and point B. So, I'm just going to stay focused on getting that done, and whatever happens, happens, right? And that's really all that's going on. I'm running out of shit to stay entertained with too. Like like I'm so bored. Like, it's like Groundhog Day. It's like Groundhog Day here. You wake up, you do, you eat, you take care of what you have to take care of, and then you're free to do whatever it is that you want to do that day. I don't really have like any responsibilities down here except for, make myself better and get healthy and do the treatments. So that's really, once all that is done and everything that I have to do with that is satisfied, what do you do then? You know, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of work to do to close up this apartment, and mail things home, that I want to keep, and then, just clean everything up and get ready to vacate this place. But honestly, I only have so much energy at this point, so I can do a little bit of work and then I have to stop and rest. And then, like, I'm like, okay, after a while, I'm like, all right, I did enough for today. Because it's a fine line of like actually overdoing it. It's so easy for me to do that because, like, part of you is like, hey, I feel awesome, let's get all this done. And then you end up overdoing it and then you pay for it like the next couple days. So I'm still at that status. So I do my best to try not to allow that to happen. And it is seriously really easy to do that. So I have to like focus on that. Um, that's pretty much about it. That's all I really have. Coming up on the weekend for everybody. So, um, you know, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like back home, but from what I heard, it's been pretty hot and really nice. So yeah, have fun this weekend. You know, I'm definitely going to take this opportunity to do some more packing and things of that nature. I'm almost done. So that's all I got. I'm just going to be hanging out and getting that stuff done. Um, so my buddy Chris just sent me a message. What did he say? Let's see. I've called Chris out. Here we go. This is going to be funny. Let's see the infinite wisdom of Mr. Chris Bopp, everyone. He says, keep plugging away and get your ass. He didn't even spell ass. Come on, we're all adults, Chris. We're all adults. But he said, get your ass home, man. I miss you. I miss you too, bro. Um, I'm looking forward to coming back. Trust me. Trust me. But I'm really looking forward to coming back, knowing that my mission here has been accomplished and I have good news to bring back. That's where I'm at. And until then, I really am not gonna rush things. You know what I mean? Um, I am. I'm staying, really positive. I'm in a good place. I really am. I'm in a good place, mentally and physically. I'm doing really well. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Other than that weird shit, like I said at the beginning of the video, like what is that about, people? Really, it is really, really bizarre. It's really bizarre. I don't really know what to make of it. Like I said, I haven't talked about it. It's the first time anybody, of course, if you watch these videos, this is the first time I ever said anything about it because I really haven't wrapped my head around it myself. Like I said, I don't know what it means. I don't know what it is. But I do know when it started, and it was when, pretty much that whole episode with me on the ventilator, like after that, that's when it kind of started. So something changed. Something changed in Shawn Crum. Do I know what it is? No. Do I in any way know even how to like talk about it or sound educated about it? No. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what to do with it. It's just really weird. It's really weird. And it's not from the trial either. This happened before the trial started. It literally happened. Like, so I don't really know what to do with that. And any of you who watch this, please, if you have any input on what that could be, let me know what it is. Let me know what you think it is. All more brains. I want to throw more brains at it because maybe there's something that I just don't understand. What this could be about. And I'm bringing it up because I literally don't understand it. I have no idea. What I do know, like I said, what I can talk about and what I do know is how it feels and what it does. And, what happens. in the course of when this does happen. Like that's about the only thing that I can talk about in an educated manner about it. So if any of you have an idea of what this is or what could be causing it, let me know because it is bizarre. It is absolutely weird. It's something that I've never done before, and I can literally feel it like to my core. Like I can feel changes in electrical fields. Like honestly, it's really, really bizarre. And the thing with like the magnet, what is that about? What is that? Like if I hold the magnet, it gets hot. Why? It never happened before. Like it actually gets too hot to touch. Like, you know what I'm actually going to try that I just thought about right now? I'm actually going to hold a battery. I'm going to go buy a AAA battery and hold both ends and see what happens. Watch it like explode and I get hurt. Something stupid like that. Oh, that would be terrible. That would suck. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of curious to see. Um, and I'm kind of curious to find out what this is. I've never dealt with this before. It is really, really neat. Kind of freaky. Yeah. It's not like it's not normal for sure. So yeah, let me know, like I said. And I like to, send a thank you out to again to Mrs. Mickey McCoy for setting up the YouTube channel that I'm kind of took over and ran with now, but she helped me get it all set up and I learned how to do it from her. What's really neat about the YouTube channel that I have is I have all the videos on there that I've ever made from years ago until now. So, a good buddy of mine, Chuck Keller, who was my flight medic that I served with when I was in the Army, he brought up a really cool, fun fact about the videos and the way that it's set up on the YouTube channel is you can actually really see the roller coaster ride that I've been on with having cancer. You can tell, you can see, like he said, like in my face, like the weight in my face of the roller coaster ride of losing weight and gaining weight and going through treatments and recovering from treatments and just the roller coaster ride that a cancer battle is. And you can definitely tell uh like emotionally how it affects people, and that's kind of what I've been going for with these videos is trying to bring light to show people how this way of life is, how it affects you, how it affects your family, and then how to cope with it and how to adapt and overcome. So take a wild ride, take a chance, check out the YouTube channel that I made. You can just type in my name, Shawn Crum. That's like the only way. There's like keywords and stuff. I haven't quite learned that yet and figured that out yet for like keywords on searching and stuff. They're there, but I don't even know if they're working. But definitely just type in my name, Shawn Crum, and it'll come up. It says like warrior in the background and stuff. She did a fantastic job of setting that up. I'm not even gonna touch it because it's amazing. But yeah, check it out and then look at the videos from over time. See if that, you know, see if you can pick up on things like that, like the roller coaster that this does, getting sick, getting better, getting sick, getting better, doing things, trying to actually have a normal life while going through this because honestly, the world doesn't stop. It doesn't. Just because you're sick doesn't mean the world's going to stop. It doesn't stop. Things don't stop. Your life doesn't stop, and it shouldn't stop. In fact, you know, it should be better. When you're faced with something like this, where it's a life and death disease, you should start living and living real quick. And honestly, you do. You do. You honestly probably never felt more alive than when you're dealing with something like this. It's shitty that it takes something like that to do that because I mean, just life in general is really hard. It's human nature. You get stuck in the rut of things, you get stuck in it. It's life. It's life. Trust me. You're just trying to, better your situation. You're in the normal grind, going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids if you have them, eating dinner, trying to entertain yourself, maybe watching a show or something, just to break up, the monotony. And then you go to bed and you wake up and you repeat and you just get stuck in this constant cycle of doing that. And it takes something really drastic, sometimes like cancer or a sickness or something. It takes something really, really drastic to change that, to break that cycle. The funny part about it is the really like the biggest gut punch, the total kick in the ass is that even if that breaks your cycle, you even like I even still get caught up in like the rut of living and doing things. So even facing, cancer and stuff, human nature still overpowers and overcomes everything. You just literally just get caught up in just living. It's almost like you go on autopilot. You're just, going through the motions, just living. So I'm just as guilty as anybody. But I think it's a challenge for all of us to break that cycle somehow, and hopefully, you can find a way in your life to break that cycle without something bad happening and slow life down a little bit and really appreciate things. Look at things from a different angle. I think that's a challenge that we all face, in life. It's really hard not to allow that to happen because, like I said, I think it is absolutely human nature to just go on autopilot, just live, just deal with things as it comes up and survive. You know, I think that's absolutely human nature, and that overpowers anything. But I think it's our responsibility to break that up and recognize things, look at things from a different angle, from a different light, and appreciate stuff. Honestly, like we have to do that, and it's hard to do. I mean, even for somebody like myself, you know, that's hard to do. So it's gonna be even harder for you to do. And that's definitely a challenge, but I think it's a challenge that it's worth it. It's worth it if you put effort into that somehow, some way. Yeah, that's actually really hard to do now that I think about it. That's tough. So, anyways, today's gonna be a special day, and I'll tell you why it's gonna be a special day. I bought a 2 liter of Pepsi. Yeah. Can you can you imagine that? Oh wow, that's what made my day special. I haven't actually had Pepsi in a while. Like I haven't had soda in a long time. And for reasons. Uh I wasn't actually able to handle the carbonation in my mouth. It burnt. It was like I ate fire. It was just really, my mouth was really sensitive to that, but it's not at the moment. So I'm gonna splurge a little bit. Like I'm gonna start off with this 2 liter of Pepsi. And if you don't believe me that I got 2 liter Pepsi, check this out. There it is. There's a 2 liter Pepsi. Yeah, I'm literally gonna put a hurting on that. Yeah, yes I am. I'm looking forward to that. And then if that goes well, I think I'm gonna go get like a 6 pack of beer. I'm gonna try that. Honestly, I could do things like that and tell you whether I had cancer or not. Because, for example, my cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, is really, really, really reactive to alcohol, which is why I haven't been able to drink for like the longest time, for like years. Um, because when I do drink alcohol, I think it's a two-part thing. I think it's the yeast and then the alcohol. It just really reacts bad. It feels like I have acid running through my veins. It is really gnarly and very uncomfortable, as you can imagine. So I could literally go right now and go buy a 6 pack of beer and try to attempt to drink one and tell you whether I have cancer still or not. I could do that right now. I could, but I'm not. I don't know if I want to or not because I don't know if I want to know yet. you know, I don't know if I want to know yet. And the sixth is coming up quick, so I'm gonna know soon enough. Um, but I really want to have a beer, and I think I'm gonna save that for when I get home with my family and my friends. I think it's gonna be a celebratory function. We're gonna celebrate, and I'm probably gonna have a couple beers, whether it hurts or not. I'm doing it. Hell yeah. But that's all I got. I just wanted to bounce that off of you folks. I just want to make a video about it. And yeah, like I said, check out the YouTube thing. See if you guys can see that. I can't because I made them. So to me, you know, it's just like it's the same thing as if you like wrote a paper, if you wrote an essay, you physically you could read it and reread it and try to proofread it, and you would still miss the mistakes. But if somebody else wrote you know, read the paper, they can tell you all your errors. You know, you just spelled this wrong, or you didn't put a comma here. But you know, if you yourself read it, you know, you don't recognize it. You have to have somebody else do it. So it's like that same concept with these videos. Like I see them and I just remember like what I was doing at the time. Like I don't really see, I don't pick up on um, you know, the roller coaster ride. Like it was already pointed out to me. Like I don't really see that. So check it out. See if you can notice anything like that, because I think that's pretty neat. That's rather cool. It's unique. So yeah, if you want to check out the YouTube, if you want to go check that kind of stuff out and see what you see, like I said, just type in my name, Shawn Crum, and it'll come up. And you don't have to subscribe or like anything. If you want to, go ahead, but you don't have to. Just go and check it out and see, and let me know if you notice anything like that, because I think that's really, really neat. That's unique. Um, and and honestly, I want to see, like, if you point it out, I want to go and see if I see the same thing. You know. That would be really cool. So, all right, everyone, have a good weekend. It is finally Friday for all of you folks that are working hard. Have a great weekend. Drink some for me. Have fun. I'll catch you guys on the next video later on.